It's MKNEWSUAL.
Here on MKUsual, it's like MK Ultra, but more normal. I'm Nick.
And I'm Dennis. Let's get it going. All the news of the week.
Let's kick this pig.
A new study by scientists suggests that chimpanzees prefer peeing together. A rival study suggests that the monkeys are just doing that so that they can talk shit behind your back.
Or do lines of coke off each other's tits.
You hear that, Jessica? It's not a kink.
This week in history, in 1845, Florida becomes the 27th state to join the Union, marking the first time in history that white monsters were allowed inside the Congressional building. It was actually the 27th time that white monsters were allowed inside the Congressional building.
In two separate incidents this week, airline passengers were forced to sit next to a dead body during their flight. The dead body still would not give up the window seat.
How much do you have to pay to check a bag of bones?
That's my service dead person. Said the passengers, "Can I get his peanuts?"
Fat Tuesday is this week. The holiday, famously named after all of your mothers, has prompted cities around the country to prepare for an influx of missing teeth and tube socks full of marbles.
Oh yeah.
Be on the lookout for the famed gap-tooth danglers.
What is a gap-tooth dangler?
It's a woman with no teeth and long breasts. No, babe, I like the long ones.
A new study says that 40% of adults no longer find it enjoyable to live in the United States.
40%?
40%. The other 60% are waiting for their 5G implants to tell them how to feel about it.
This just in, I love it here.
Take that, Bill Gates. Guy who's never been made fun of.
In 1770, this week in history, the Boston Massacre occurred, a pivotal event escalating the tensions with the British leading up to the American Revolution. What began as a drunken snowball fight will almost certainly end in a global thermonuclear war.
No comment. President Trump and Ukrainian leader Zelensky had a dust-up in the Oval Office this week. Democrats have encouraged Trump to apologize by sending $100 billion to Israel.
That should sort him out. This week in history, in 1946, Winston Churchill gave his famous Iron Curtain speech in Fulton, Missouri, officially marking the start of the Cold War. The speech shocked the Soviet Union, and Stalin compared Churchill's rhetoric to that of Hitler, marking the first time in history that someone who opposes communism is literally Hitler. 7 years later, on that same day in 1953, Joseph Stalin died. His official cause of death, a broken heart.
Aww.
His last words were, "Wise men say, only fools Russian. But I can't help. Stalin in love with you."
You know that Stalin means man of steel?
Oh, fuck.
He changed his name to mean man of steel.
A guy with all the statues thinks he's actually metal.
You know what's pretty metal? Gulags. Diddy's lawyers are in the news, saying that the media has the case, quote, all wrong. Also, quote, it's not what it looks like. Just give us a minute and the muffled sounds of shredder noises. Diddy, somehow the second most controversial rap artist this week.
Who are you talking about?
I can't believe that's true.
This week, Switzerland hosted the Conference on Occupied Palestinian Territories on March 7th for states that are parties to the Geneva Conventions, focusing on the situations of civilians in the Israeli-occupied territories. And in historical news, Israel has never ratified the additional Geneva Protocols 1 and 2 of 1977, which strengthens protections for civilians in occupied territories, as well as extending protections to cultural sites, medical facilities, essential infrastructure, and prohibits the economic exploitation of occupied lands for the benefit of the occupying forces. There's no punchline. This is just the definition of hysterical versus hilarious.
Nick, they're getting around to it. It hadn't even been 50 years.
Nah, I don't wanna.
Elon Musk has announced his 14th child. His fourth with partner Sivan Zilis. When asked for comment, Musk responded, "Statistically speaking, if I have enough kids, one of them will like me."
That's pretty funny.
He literally said that. Some families are trying to start a basketball team. Elon trying to start another diamond mine. Or at least staff it. Static or at least staff. They have little hands. The children yearn for the mines. Another recent study finds that parenting slows down the process of aging. In other news, Elon Musk turns 26 this week.
This week in history, in 1959, the Barbie doll debuted at the American International Toy Fair, allowing young women to discover their sexuality without having to go to church camp.
Major scandal in the Justice Department this week, as certain FBI field offices have been accused of withholding and possibly destroying Jeffrey Epstein files. This news comes as a huge shock to This news comes as a huge shock to Mildred Whimsy of 136 Elderberry Lane, Maplewood Heights, Ohio.
Hi, Mildred.
Hi, Mildred.
The Epstein files did not delete themselves.
That should have been the punchline.
This week in history, in 1917, the Russian Revolution began, honoring two of my favorite pastimes, killing billionaires and watching communists die.
In celebrity birthdays this week, Shaquille O'Neal turns 8'4". He just adds a ring every year like a tree. It just becomes bigger and bigger.
Daylight savings time is on March 9th this year. That's a Sunday. Dennis and I just want to remind everyone to spring forward and set your clocks forward 1 hour. The Yellow King would like to remind everyone that time is a flat circle.
This is actually fall back, which is what all the Ukrainians are going to be saying here in about a week. This has been MKNEWSUAL. Subscribe to MKNEWSUAL for more conspiracies, news, and sometimes some people say comedy.
Alleged.
It's been said.
This just in. Fuck you.